And there we go. There's a caricature. Hi guys, I'm MDaniels. You might see me at Goshen First Fridays. I'm a caricaturist. That means a cartoonist who draws people's faces real live time. I'm usually on the street drawing people. Whoever wants to be drawn, I draw. I'm talking to you because Mrs. Potsander asked me to talk to you about a little bit of what I do. Okay, when I look at Timmy's jawline and Lindsay's jawline, I look at a couple points. I look at where it starts here at the ear, and then I look at where her jaw starts right here, and then where her chin is, and then where that point is, and this point. So it's these points, because this right here all make up her chin. So it's this point right here, and the chin. I just observe those and see where they're at, and that's what I accentuate. Okay, Lindsay, you can go. Can you get Timmy in this shot?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to do Timmy with my pencil, because I can erase pencil. I can't erase marker. To show you what I see. Okay, so I have a black marker, and I draw his jawline from ear to ear. So his jawline looks something like this, right? Cheek there, and his cheek over here, and his chin, the bottom of his chin. And then I drew his mouth line. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw his nose, and we'll see where it's at. So it's up above his mouth line a little bit, and usually what I do is I draw a circle with my pencil. I draw a circle, and then I put his nostrils wherever they are on his nose. Sometimes they're big, like mine, and sometimes they're little. And then the nostrils themselves, these things right here, and his nostrils are usually just kind of like half circles around that nose. Okay. Next thing I do with my pencil again is I draw his eyeballs. So I draw his irises wherever they are, and they're usually pretty big. So there's his eyeballs. Okay. And then I draw lines, which are his eyebrows on top of his, and they usually cover the iris. And then I draw his bottom of his eye, the bottom there, and that gives me his look. And then sometimes I draw his eyelids, which are right there. And then sometimes I put a little note as to where his eyebrows are. And at this point, I draw his ears. And ears are pretty hard to draw, but I usually just make half moons again. Just like that, all the way around, just like that. And I try to see how big they are. Are they really big? Are they really small? And sometimes if they're really big, I make them honking huge, big, kind of like this, like this, and I make fun of that person. I don't really like making fun of people, but sometimes they just have big ears. Okay, but Timmy doesn't have big ears, so I'm going to go with this line right here, this line. Okay, so I'm going to forget these are the lines I would erase, right there. So, and then I add these little touches to make the eyeball, not the eyeball, silly, the ears look real. And then I look at his hair. So I look at his hair and I start drawing his bangs. So I drew lines for his bangs. So I'm drawing up and in and up and in all over the place. And then I draw the outside of his hair, which starts from over here all the way up and down and over here. Can you see me do that? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, and his head is all the way up there, so I'm going to go just like that. Add a little bit of hair marks up there to show the people that he has hair up there. And then usually I draw a little neck with a shirt, because little necks are funny. I have to work on I forgot about something. His mouth is missing some lips, so I have to add some lips, just like that, and some cheek marks maybe, right? And then I'm almost done. I forgot about a couple things. His irises, which is the blackest part of his eyes, always have a little highlight in them. That's what the little white absence in his eye is. So I'm drawing his iris right there, and then the whites of his eye are right there. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna edit that out. This is his pupil, the blackest part of his eye, and this is his iris. The white part right there is his iris, and those are going to be the color part. And then this is the white part of his eye, right there. So if you really look at a person's eye, you can figure out these parts. And then I have this highlight right there that is just a little bit of a white part in his eye that you see. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to draw his pupil, and a little bit of reflection there, his iris, and then the white of his eyes. I don't draw the entire eye, just what's important. So there's his eyes, and then I draw his glasses, which are kind of hard because glasses are not easy to draw. It takes practice to draw. I drew lots of glasses, and so kind of make it up as I go. There's his glasses. Now I'm going to move over to a darker marker to make it permanent. So here's my marker, my black marker. And I just go over my pencil lines that I drew. To make the whole thing. So I just go over my pencil markings to make the drawing stand out off the paper. Because usually I would draw in pencil, and you won't be able to see the pencil. And while I'm doing this, I make corrections in the drawing that I made. So it's not ever perfect. My drawing is never perfect.
What do you do if you make a mistake?
If I make a mistake, I usually stop and I erase. But sometimes if I make a mistake, I just go with it. Because usually I'm on the street and I just have to make it up as I go. So I make something up. Or I do it over again. Because my customer is a paying customer and I want to make sure that they're happy. So sometimes I do it over if they're not happy with it. Or if I'm not happy with it. So next up is his hair. Now if I'm doing this at home and I have a picture in front of me, or I'm drawing my family, and if it's going long enough and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I missed this thing about it, and then I stop and I get rid of this and I just start all over. Because as an artist you can do that. You can just stop what you're doing. This drawing doesn't have to be perfect, and I can start over on a new piece of paper. So now that I have the drawing done, I'm going to do my grays, like I showed you, my gray markers. I'm going to add some tones, shading, around the edge of my face to make it look three-dimensional, which makes it look 3D, like it has shape, and make it look a little bit more real. Add a little bit of shadow there underneath his head and his nose, especially underneath the nose, because you see his shadow underneath the nose there, and usually on the nose bridge on either side, and his what are these called, Timmy? Eyelids. And this just adds just a little bit more. I usually just follow my pencil lines. As I go. Basically I just put a little bit of just a shading on the inside of my lines to give my person just a little bit more shape and give a little bit more character. Now his hair, I'm going to go with a darker gray. Just add a little bit more shading. If you look at his hair, you can see that's darker here than it is right here. And it's darker on top. So it's darker here, lighter right there, and then darker up top. And this is called a highlight right here. This lighter spot on his hair. So I'm going to take a darker marker. I'm just going to start from the bottom and just make those darker parts. And I'm going to leave a highlight right in the middle of the paper. Just like that. And then I'm going to come down. And how that leaves that highlight there makes the hair look stand out. Notice I'm not drawing every single part, every single hair, everything that goes in the hair. I'm just drawing the shape of his hair. The shape of his hair all on there. And then I shaded it just like that to make it look like hair. And that looks like Timmy. Kinda. Right? I hope so. Now, what I like to do, to set the drawing off a little bit, is I add a little box. Make it stand out just a little bit. I like to put these little marks on it because they're kind of cool. And then I add my signature. Sometimes you can't read my signature, but that's okay. And there we go. There's the caricature.